Hey monkeys, how you doing? Damian Keys here. So we're doing another Facebook review. This is number 3 in the series, and this playlist is all about actually going into detail on social media. At the moment, we're working on Facebook, and I'm actually finding real Facebooks, given permission, and actually sort of looking into what we can improve, so then you guys can actually take that information and start to work on it as well. Now today, we are doing something slightly different because I'm actually going to do a covers band. But you need to watch this if you're a musician, if you're in an originals band, or if you're in any kind of business. I think this is really important from a social media point of view, because I actually started my whole career in business by learning about it through covers bands. So this band's from Scotland, and Chris got in touch and he said, go to town on our Facebook. And you know me, I'm going to go to town on it. So the band's called Fitliken or Fitliken. Now these guys are Scottish, so I'm going to try and refrain from doing Scottish accents because I don't want my head kicked in. But he got in touch and he said, just so you know, it's a local phrase which means how you going, as he put it. So it does actually mean something. It's not just a made-up word. So that's cool. So I put it in. We're going to go on. Firstly, we're going to go and find them. Let's see if we can find Fitliken. So under people, not so much. Let's go to, on here, let's go to pages, see if we can find them. Look at that, first one, popped up, found them, musician, band. Now then, that's good start. Now, Fitliken is a covers band and it's classic rock. Now, this is very, very important. I want you to know this. I started off my career as a musician in Swansea going to watch covers bands and going to watch, more importantly, pub bands and back in the day bluesy bands, classic rock bands. And I learned a lot from doing it and the musicianship, and I feel like this is a very, very good thing to do for musicians, to get out to play. And I think there's a lot of stigma attached to this stuff, especially when you get to a certain age, when you get to 25, 30, and you want to carry on playing, and people are like, oh, it's a pub band. Well, it's only a pub band if you make it into a pub band. It can be whatever band you want. For me, I don't buy into that. I don't buy into pub band. I don't buy into wedding band. I don't buy into functions band. I don't buy into stadium band. I just buy into band. Where you want to market it and where you want to play your gigs is completely up to you. And there are bands that have literally taken over the world doing covers, and there's bands that don't do any covers at all. Now, this idea of where you fit in is up to you. And if you actually put the tag on this thing as a wedding band, a covers band, a pub band, fine. I see this as a band, and I see this as a commercial band. That's the way they're going to make their money and their living. So they've asked me to go through it. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, firstly, first impressions when I go on the Facebook. The name, you can find it, so that's good. As long as someone knows how to spell it, that's fine. The logo I really like, and I think the fact that it's on t-shirts and it looks really cool, you can see what it is. Now these guys are doing classic rock, so they aren't doing a mixture of all different stuff and saying weddings and corporate. They're saying, look, what we do is what we know, which is classic rock material. So the logo fits in. It fits into that kind of AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Metallica. It fits into that kind of framework. So that I really, really like. Now coming across, the next thing you've got is the picture. Now this is something we need to work on because first impressions are absolutely key. But before we do this, I want to know, what is it that we are trying to achieve with this band? Now, this band is on social media for 3 reasons. This band wants to get more bookings. I'm assuming these things, but this band, if you're a covers band, you want to get more bookings. You want to build social proofing, so when people have heard about you, they go and see your Facebook, and they see if you're gigging, if you're busy, what you'll sound like, if people like you. So that's called social proof. So you're looking at, second thing is social proof. And the last thing you're looking at then is to build a community so that if you're putting on gigs, people know that when you're playing, they will come down and see you. So that is it. So this is a slightly different thing from putting out records. This is about getting bookings, social proofing, and building community. So those are the three things that we're after. So everything that we're going to target is to do with those things as opposed to just building an audience. This is not so much about building the audience. Now, we'll come back to that picture, but if you look at the numbers down here, the numbers aren't massive. Now, this is a really important thing. That makes no difference. We are not trying to build a massive audience. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to build something so that if people want to stay in touch with the band, they can, should they want to put out their own record of covers, should they want to get people down to their gigs. So that community side is important. However, there are many people that would book a band that wouldn't like the band. And when I say like the band, I mean they wouldn't subscribe to the band, but they would see them and go, this is perfect. I don't want that clogging up my Facebook, because that's not what this is about. So you're not just trying to build an audience here. This is all about something slightly different, which is social proof, which means people are seeing it and saying, this is great, this is what I'm looking for. I need a band for my pub, I need a band for my wedding, I need a band for my party, whatever it's going to be. So I'm not going to pay so much attention to the numbers, because I feel that's an egocentric metric, and that's not what this is about. And these guys are quite a busy band in their area, so what they're doing is working. Now, first impressions, we've got the logo, I think it's really good. This picture, now this picture is something that needs work. Now, one thing, no matter who you are, doesn't matter what size band you are, doesn't matter where you're playing, that picture on this banner, this bit here, is always the first thing people are going to notice, and they are going to instantly decide whether they like you, whether they don't like you. They're going to pick out the negatives and the positives instantly from that first picture. Now, I think, having been through this, had a quick look at it earlier on, the music and the musicianship and the product, I think, is really good. The picture and the marketing in general is the thing we need to work on. The picture doesn't show what you're going to get. Or at the moment, it shows a bit too much what you're going to get, which is, at the moment, we're playing in small corners of pubs. And I don't think this band need to do that. I think this band could play much bigger venues should they want to, because it's a niche. What they've done very well with this band is they've picked a niche. They haven't gone 50s to modern day, we do a bit of everything. They go, no, this is what we do. If you like AC/DC, if you like Guns N' Roses, if you like Bon Jovi, if you like Aerosmith, then you're going to like this band. And there is a massive niche for that in a market, not to go too wide a spectrum. So they will definitely get a lot of gigs from it. But the picture doesn't sum them up well enough. And so if you look at the picture, what you've actually got here is t-shirts wise, the first thing you notice is two of the guys wearing their own t-shirts, no problem at all. Thin Lizzy, that's a cool band. But this one over here, I don't know if you noticed this, bass player, has got a t-shirt which says, your face is shit. Now, that's brilliant and funny, but when I go to the pictures, this is, let's have a quick peek. This is, there it is again, doing the pictures, your face is shit. Go to the next one, the face is shit. So that's your t-shirt. Now, it's not offensive at all, and this is not about it being offensive, but if you are trying to get something across of what you do, I think what the band wears is really important. I think in this picture here, drummer's wearing an AC/DC t-shirt, perfect. The guitarist is wearing a Dead Daisies t-shirt. That is perfect. That's a modern day version of that band, and that is a very cool band. These two guys have got their own band t-shirt. So I think what would be really cool is wearing t-shirts which sum up the band. Someone's got a really cool Guns N' Roses t-shirt, or a Motley Crue t-shirt, or an AC/DC t-shirt. It just shows what you guys are all about, because that's what the picture needs to do. It needs to sum up what you've got. Now, the other thing as well is, because of all the gigs you do, and these guys have done a lot of gigs, this is the picture that sums it up. And I think what would be better is, I would go and get a photographer in the area and say, we're going to do a photo shoot. That's what we're going to do. Rather than do just shots of the gig, we're going to do a photo shoot, which it'll cost you, I would do a proper one as well. I wouldn't just go get our mate in who happens to have a camera. I'd actually say, no, we're going to get a proper photographer. It's going to cost 150, 200 quid. Where these guys are from in Aberdeen, it might cost them less. It might cost them 50 to 100 quid. It depends where you are. But I would go and get a decent photo, because I think it makes a difference. And then what you wear in that photo has to sum up the band. Now, this idea from an age point of view, because they're all sort of slightly different ages, this idea from an age point of view makes a difference. I don't think it does, because I think the music will speak for itself. But how you look in the picture does make a difference. You can see a picture of AC/DC, they're all in their 60s and 70s. You go and see a picture of Guns N' Roses, they're all mid-50s. You know, there's loads of resurgence of these kind of classic rock bands coming back. And these guys are between the age of sort of 55 and 70 years old. And they still pull it off. They still look cool. They still look like a band. So I think that is important. So I want this picture to be better. I want this picture to be inviting. So instead of saying this is what you're going to get when you come and see a band, it's going to be the corner of a pub. I want it to say we are a real band. Not we're a pub band, not we're a functions band, not we're a wedding band. We are a real band and we play classic rock. So you've got to sum that up in one picture. So that's the first impression of the first thing. Now, as I scroll down, one thing I noticed with these guys is they do quite a lot of gigs, which I think is brilliant. It shows they're really, really good. I've watched several of their videos, and as the internet loads up, I watched several of the videos. The musicianship is absolutely brilliant. I think these guys have got the product sewn up. I think they've picked very clever songs. So it's very classic rock, but they've got Sweet Child of Mine, School's Out. They've got Thin Lizzy, Gary Moore. You know, they've been very, very smart with the songs that they pick. And I see too many bands that when I sit down with them, too many covers bands, that when I sit down with them, they've steered away from the obvious ones. And they've gone, oh, it's a bit obvious and we want to do other tracks. And so they've picked kind of B-sides of bands. And the problem is you're thinking about it from yourselves' point of view and you're not thinking about it from the audience's point of view. When the audience is out and had a few drinks, and someone says Guns N' Roses, then they don't want to hear You Could Be Mine. They want to hear Sweet Child of Mine or Paradise City. It's just the way it works. And when they go out and see Bon Jovi, or they ask for a Bon Jovi cover, then they don't want Bed of Roses. What they actually want is Living on a Prayer or You Give Love a Bad Name. That's just the way it works. So they've been very, very clever with their songs. So scrolling down, now the one thing you see is there's lots of pictures and there's lots of videos. That is absolutely brilliant. However, I would say with all of the pictures and all of the videos, there's not a professional photo shoot and there's not professional videos. Now this brings up a debate which I wanted to talk about on this, which is quality versus quantity. When you're making your videos, and this doesn't matter whether you're originals bands, covers bands, businesses, when you're making your content, should you be making lots and lots of content just to get it out there, or should you be making high quality stuff less often? Which is it? Now, this has come up so many times, and I'm going to tell you what the answer is, because the answer is very simple. It's both. Now, you don't have to have everything at massively high quality and keep churning out on a daily basis, although obviously that would be good. But you do have to have quantity. You do have to have stuff coming in on a regular basis to keep people amused. You do have to have good pictures of your gigs. But what you can do is you can dip up and down. So for example, if this band had their first picture as a very professional, very professional banner, which looked like a pro shot, then all of a sudden you're then going to forgive them more when the next shot is them at a gig, because that's real life. So you're kind of mixing and matching. This video here, where you can see if I click it, quite loud. So the band feels good. And I really like it. I think if I was out with my mates and this band came on, I would absolutely stick around. I'd stick around and watch them. These guys take pride in their instruments, they take pride in their music, and they really like what they do. And I think that is very inspiring for me as a musician. This is the type of band that I would sit down and go, oh good, they're not playing Uptown Funk. I'm gonna go, this is a band I would go and watch, but then I'm slightly older than some of you guys. So that's good. This video can be excused if there's some professional videos and some live videos. The problem is there's a lot of live videos, and each one of the live videos, if I click this one, for example, a slightly better quality video, another good choice of song, I think. This thing, by the way, I'd probably lose this. I'd lose all this kind of branding at the beginning. it's a bit egocentric. I'd probably just get rid of it and just be like, people are already on my page, I'll just get it up. AC/DC, brilliant, great choice, sounds good. Up in the corner there's a TV, which is a bit weird. I'd probably have tried to chop that out. One camera angle, there's not moving around, which you can still do on a phone. So if someone comes down and says, I'll film some of your video, then you can do that, not a problem at all. However, like I said, what you want to do is you want to kind of mix and match. So I would, if I was these guys, I would find someone who can make a good video. It can be a live gig, but I'd find a venue which has got a good stage, and I would probably get someone to video the band. I'd do some pro shots, and if we are going to do live gig shots, and here's a big thing, if we're going to do live gig shots, I want more of the crowd in the shots, because I think this is really important. Now, when it comes to doing covers bands, someone who's going to book a covers band, someone who's going to go to a covers band is going to take into consideration the music, but they're always going to put themselves into the place of the audience member. So when they see audience members sort of sat watching, they're going to think, oh, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sat watching. If they see an audience member going, this is fucking brilliant, they're thinking, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm the guy who's going to be going, this is fucking brilliant. So, you know, people need to see the thing and then aspire to it. So I want to see more crowd. I want to see the audience being really enjoying it, and I want that to be a part of it, which we'll come back to in a minute, because this is quite an important point. So when I look at it, the main thing I'm seeing is the amount of content is good. I just feel like we need slightly higher content, a higher quality of content of the pictures, which nowadays, a couple of filters, just being a bit more careful with the shots, getting someone down who's a decent enough photographer and actually using an iPhone, a newish iPhone, or if not, then, you know, a decent camera, because everyone's got one nowadays, I think will make a massive difference. I think it'd be really nice to have a couple of recorded tracks pinned. So at the moment, what I'm seeing is everything's real. I'm seeing the band at the gig. So the videos are from the band at the gig, the pictures are from the band at the gig, the audio is from the band at the gig. Well, I think we should put a bit more of the mystery in there. So the first thing I'd like to see is the band not at a gig, unless the gig is so big that it's social proofing in itself. I'd like to see the band not at a gig in a proper, like, we are a band type of pose. Then after that, I'd like to have a professionally shot video. You know, I know it's going to cost a bit of money, but there's 5 guys in the band. If you can whack in 30 to 50 quid each, you'll be able to find someone up there who'll do you a decent video. And that way, you've got the band going, this is a song which is professionally recorded in a studio, and then the video is them making a music video. I just feel like that would be a really good first impression. And then all of a sudden, all of the live gigs make more sense, because they say, this is the band and here's one of our gigs, and people go, hooray, that's fantastic. But at the moment, everything is coming from a gig, and I feel like there needs to be a slight amount of separation. Now, the amount of gigs is really, really good. Oh, here's another thing. When I go to the top, the other thing is watch a video. So this is called, let me just click off that. This is called a call to action. And this is very, very important. This is important in business. This is important in any band. When someone goes to your website, when someone goes to your Facebook, when they go to your website, when they go on your stuff, what's really important is, what is the call to action? What do you want them to do? What's the thing that you're trying to get them to do? And what lots of bands do is they try and have lots of calls to action, or businesses as well. Lots of calls to action. We don't want that. We just want to say, I will navigate you around this, don't worry. So where's the call to action? Do I want them to see this and book straight away? No, because no one's going to do that. They're going to see this and go, this looks quite good. How can I find out more information? So whatever that is, do you want them to sign to a mailing list? Do you want them to like the page? Do you want them to say hello? Do you want them to watch this video? What is that call to action? Now, these guys have got a watch video. So for me, that is the call to action, because I can't see anything else. So I click the call to action and it says, I'm navigating you. Come and watch the video, find out a bit more about the band. I say, yes, fantastic. You've told me to do that. I am now doing that. Now I watch the video. The video, which we won't watch all of it, is about 2.5 minutes long. First bit is, again, the logo thing. I'd probably lose that. People nowadays haven't got as much. They are without time, so you need to save them time. Click the button, go straight into it. All this idea of having idents and stuff, I don't think it's needed. They're already on your Facebook. They're already on your YouTube. You can just have something whilst it's playing saying Fitliken, that's fine. Now, the band here is playing. Whole Lot of Rosie. Carries on for a bit, and then it goes into a nice little smooth transition. T-Rex, classic rock. Band sounds kicking, love it. Carries on going a bit longer. Next song. Yes. I was listening to this morning. Metallica, Enter Sandman, fantastic. So if you're into your classic rock, or metal in this case, then you're thinking, yeah, these are all the songs I grew up with, loving all this stuff. Queen, another great classic rock band. Brilliant, so we know that. Now it gets to the end of the video, and it fades out. So now, don't forget, we are directing people, we're telling people where to go. We've said, call to action, watch this video, and watch the video. I get to the end of the video, and I go, right, what do I do now? So I have to click off the video, and I'm back to the Facebook, and I go, okay, so do I have a look and see what they're doing? I want to know what is the call to action, and this is why the numbers game is an egocentric metric in this case. This is, if you want people to like it, great, but what you want to do is you want to tell them what to do next. And it needs to be on the video. Why don't you come to one of our gigs? Why don't you book us for one of your gigs? Whatever way we are using the social media for, we are not telling people what to do yet. And I think that could be something that could go on the banner, it could go in the watch video, and that way people know what to do. And if it says, you know, here's our gigs, people go, oh, these guys are playing in Aberdeen, I'm gonna come and see them live. Or if it is, if you wanna book us for your event, phone this number or email us here, then at least people go, right, I know what I'm supposed to do next. So that's something I think is really important, is this call to action. I don't see it on many bands' Facebook pages, but you go and look at, you know, talking of classic rock, you go and actually go on Facebook and you go and find ZZ Top or Guns N' Roses or AC/DC or any of those bands. You will find, if they are doing stuff, and this is not an appreciation page, if they are an active band doing stuff, there will be calls to action of what they want you to do next. And that might be, here's the tour, book some tickets. Or it might be, here's our new album, it's coming out. If you go on Bon Jovi's Facebook right now, I don't know what's on there, I bet you there's a call to action. So I'm going to do that right now because I think it proves a point. I'm going to put in Bon Jovi. I'm not on Bon Jovi's site. Here it is, 25.8 million people like their page. Bang, look at that. Straight away, you've got the logo and it says Bon Jovi, this house is not for sale. That is their new album. Even over the side, you've got another picture, Bon Jovi, this house is not for sale. We have an album, this album is coming out, go and buy our album. That is the call to action. Then underneath it, it says shop now. So you just go, oh, there's the album, go and buy it here. Click, bang, I can buy it there if I want to. So that call to action is very, very important for any band and for any business, but for any band, what do you want them to do next? So that's the thing. At the moment, I feel like a big part of this is we could just take this to the next level quite easily because these guys really take pride in what they do. I think like you can see by the instruments they play, you can see down the side that when they go to their gig, they take spare guitars, there's a spare bass in the background. This inspires me. Like when I see bands who really take pride, when people turn up and they just go, oh, I've got my guitar and I've got a Sans amp because I just stick it through the PA. And I'm like, that's a shame that you've got to that phase in your life. Whereas these guys, they're like, no, it is rock and roll. Rock and roll is all about using a Strat for this song and then I'm going to use a Gibson for this song and I'm going to use something else for that song. You know, I think that to me just says passion and excitement and I love that. And when I listen to them, there is a lot of passion in their playing. There's also other bits when it comes to the videos I notice where the guitarist, who I think is really great, has these really fantastic solos. There was one I was watching and nothing happened. The video didn't cut to the guitar. It was literally the guitarist was shredding away and there just wasn't a big thing about it. And I feel like you should be making more of the musicianship because it's tight. The singer's got a cracking voice. Like to sing AC/DC is a no mean feat. To sing Aerosmith, to sing this stuff, that is ridiculously hard. And make more of it. And at the moment, when I'm watching the band, one of the big things is, I'm going to go to anyone. I'll just go to this one, for example. One thing that happens is the band's kind of standing there, doing their thing, and I'm just thinking, we need to give this more. If I was going to say one thing about this, I think we could just raise everything by 20 to 30%, and I think you'd get 3 times as many people to your gigs. I think you'd get twice to 3 times as much money for the gigs. You'd be much more in demand. You'd have much more fun. At the moment, there's too much sort of standing there, sort of looking down, looking at each other, playing. All the parts are there, but it's not mesmerizing and it's not captivating. And because of that, when I then look at the pictures, the audience are appreciative. Now, one thing I don't want when I do a gig is an appreciative audience. I want to have a metaphorical punch in the face. I want to literally grab the audience and say, listen, motherfuckers, we are having a fucking party, whether you like it or not. You are gonna like it or get out. Rather than, we are here to play you some music. I hate that sort of, we are your entertainment for tonight. Oh, fuck that. I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna smash the first song, and I want people to go, fuck, this is cool. And then they're gonna get into it. I'm gonna demand that they enjoy it. And as you can see by the pictures, the impression that we're giving, if you want to book the band, is there's a nice couple here who are having a bit of a chat whilst it's going on. There's some chairs over here. The band's sort of going, oh, well, we'll just be over here playing. And I just think there's more a case of saying, when we play, we're going to push that settee out of the way, that sofa out of the way, and we're going to say, this is the bit we dance, this is the bit you get involved, and we're going to actually get the crowd, and we're going to say, you, all you, here. Demand it, not ask, demand. And then I want, you know, because what bands tend to do, especially covers bands, but with all bands, what I see is this, the crowd weren't really into it, so we didn't really get into it. And I'm like, you've got that the wrong way around. The crowd will only get into it because you demand it. But then when you demand it and you're into it, they will be into it. And then that will be a momentum thing. So it's not the crowd is got to be up for it to make you up for it. You've got to look around and go, shit, this is going to be hard work. And that's what it is. From the moment the drummer clicks into that first song, it is hard work. It is constant fronting that band. It is the guitarist and the bass player and the drummer's responsibility as much as the singer to get people to the front. Again, same in originals band. When people do that thing where they stand at the sides and then it's up to the singer to go, don't stand at the sides, come in the front. If I was the bass player, I would be standing at the front of that stage, facing the crowd, being as physically as big as possible, giving it as much as possible, so that when the singer does say, come on, let's fucking do this, then the crowd are going, yeah, because you're giving it, so I want to give it as well. And it's more of a gentle push, and they're going to do that. So I want to see that, and I want, as someone who could come to one of your gigs if I was in the area, I want to put myself in the position of the crowd, not the band. So I want to see the crowd, and I want to say, I want to be part of that gig, I want to be part of that crowd. So I want the pictures to have more of that in. So I think generally 20-30% rise will definitely help. But here's a couple of things. How can we, oh no, before we do that, I want to just go to the about section. The about section is very, very important. I don't know if many bands pay attention to your about section, but I think it's really important, a really important bit. Now, it's about the band, yes, but it's about the audience. It's how we're going to bring value. So with this one, artists we also like. Love this. Aerosmith, Thin Lizzy, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Ram Jam, Black Sabbath, Creedence Clearwater. This is a very clear niche of what this band does. And there are people who are going to be like, yeah, I love those bands. I'd love it. I want to come down and I want to see Boys Are Back in Town. And I want to see Aerosmith play Walk This Way. Or, you know, I want to see Black Sabbath. I want to see those songs. I want to see AC/DC. So that's good. That's the artists that we like. Then you've got all the contact details. Brilliant. Then you've got band members. Fine. Hometown, Aberdeen. Fine. Then there's the about bit. And then there's the biography, which is quite hard to read. Now, at the moment, people aren't going to read it. So same thing as the crowd. People are going, they're not really going to read it, so I'll just whack in anything here. Well, they're going to read it if it's good. I promise you. If it looks like they should be read, they will read it. If it looks like it shouldn't be read, they won't read it. Now, at the moment, I look at that and I go, classic rock band, Aberdeen, Scotland, staple diet, blah, can't be asked, and I'm off. What I would do is I'd lay out in a different way. And I think in this band's case, what I'd be looking at is, what is going to bring people value? What's the problem that we're solving? As my old mate John Michael Morgan says, what problem are we solving? If you can figure that out, people are with you. Now, the problem that we're solving is there's not many classic rock bands around anymore who are good, because it's very difficult to play. So there's your problem. What do you do? What's the music that you do? Because I like it. What's the set list? What are the songs that you do? That's the bit that I would put in this biography. Because I want to be looking through going, oh, I love that song. If you did like Girls, 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 I'd be like, oh my God, I'd love to see that live. That'd be amazing. And so that bit of what it is that you do needs to go in this bit here. So when there's a set list in the biography and say, look, this is why you come and see us live, because you see these songs and people go, I love those songs. I want to see that. And then it's got the way to book. So that's the thing with the about section. Don't think that nobody gives a shit about the about section, so you can put anything in there. They won't care if they go to it and it looks like just writing that doesn't appeal to them. But if it's laid out in a way that looks appealing to read, they will read it. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the testimonials. I think there needs to be more testimonials on this website, because you're doing a lot of gigs. So to get a testimonial from landlords, from venues, from clients, from people who come down and see it, I think that would be a really cool thing. Just to say, oh, I love this type of stuff. I want to see more of it. Where are you playing next? All that kind of stuff. There's not enough testimonials. And that is more social proofing, which is part of the reason why we want this. So there's a bunch of ideas. Now, how are we going to get the golden question, how are we going to get what we want? Which is, how are we going to build an audience? How are we going to get more likes? How are we going to get more gigs? And I think it starts live, because that's what this band is. This band is a live band. This band is there to entertain, and because of that, people will go and see them live. And the more of the audience engaging and the more community we get, the more people we will get to the gigs. So in which case, how are we going to do that? Well, here's a bunch of things I would suggest. Number one, I noticed on one of the videos, they've got a banner at the back, which is kind of like a small backdrop, which is brilliant. But I would go further than that. I would have banners. Now, you can buy banners, you can get them designed and you can get them printed, and they literally pop up banners. They'll cost 100 quid. You get, most places will do a buy one get one free. It'll be like 100 quid. You buy one, you get one free. You can get it professionally designed with the logo on it, but with all of the contact details and a call to action. Go on our Facebook and like our Facebook, and that way, because what happens is, I mean, it's great that you're wearing the t-shirts, but people will be going, what was that band from last night? I was a bit drunk, I can't remember. Whereas if it is just in your face, the t-shirts works. If it was on the bass drum, where you get a bass drum design, costs you about 80 quid. Now, obviously, there's people listening and watching this going, I haven't got any money. Okay, well, you can't do that. But if you have got some money, then potentially a bass drum skin where it has the logo on it and the social media on it. The banners down the side, Fitliken, some kind of slogan, the best classic rock band in Scotland, or classic rock that you love, or, you know, classic rock from your youth, or whatever it is, or Youth Gone Wild, or whatever it needs to say, and then social media links, so it's there. Come and find us on social media. That's your call to action. Now, I'd have those banners down the side, potentially a bass drum, the banner in the back. That would be brilliant. I think those things will mean that you will get more people on a gig being like, oh, I just need to like this because I'll forget. Because people do forget, unless you're ramming it home all the time. So I would have that. I would not just turn up. The t-shirts are nice, but they're not enough. The next thing I would do from a social proofing point of view is you need to get the crowd involved. And the way I would do this is on every single gig, and I would do this with every band on the entirety of Facebook. On every single gig, rather than taking pictures of the band live, what I would do is I wouldn't do that unless the venue looked amazing. What I would do is I would take pictures of the vibe. I would take pictures of the guitarist and the bass player smiling, going, yeah, can't wait for the gig. I would take a picture of, especially of Doug the singer, or any of the guys together with some guys who've stayed to the end of the gig. So you come off stage and you just go, I want to get some pictures. So you've got 2, 3, 4, 5 of the band and 2 of the 3 of the guys who are there. And you're literally just, thanks for coming to our gig. Now, what that will do is when you say, I'm going to put that on my Facebook, someone will go, oh, that's cool. And they'll more likely to come and like it because they know they're going to see a picture of themselves on your Facebook. So I would actually take pictures of the vibe. I want the audience, but I want to see the audience going, having a great time. I think it's really, really important that when you look at these pictures, you've got a reason for people to come and like this Facebook page. So another thing that you can do is there will be a point of their set, because there's a point of every band's set, where the vibe is really going for it. And it could be that they do Back in Black and everyone's like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment, and it might be halfway through the second set or 2/3 of the way through the second set, and at this point everyone's got a bit drunk and everyone's come forward. It is completely acceptable possibly to break the song down in the middle before you bring it back up again, or even get to the end of the song, finish the song, and then say, guys, you guys look amazing. I want to take a picture of you guys. And so what happens is someone in the band will then take a picture of the audience. And if I were the guys, I'd get into the shot because it shows that you are there having fun with the audience. And it shows that the audience is having fun. And there will be a sweet spot. Every single band has got an entire sections where they just go, this is not the time to do this because people aren't up for it. But at the end of the night, when people in the pub are drunk and stuff, it only takes you to have one good picture with someone who just goes, oh, I love your band, it's fantastic. Let's take a picture. Bang. Then that goes on. So what happens is someone looks at this and doesn't say, there's a band. They just say, that guy's having a whale of a time. And they start putting themselves in the position of the person watching the gig as opposed to the guitarist or just the musician. So I think that's quite important. The next thing I would do is I would start having some debates. I would use the power of a status. I think this is a great band to be able to have debates on. So things like, I would put something out there every so often saying, we've got a gig coming up in 2 weeks' time. We'd love to see you there, but we want to know what new song we should put in the set. You guys are going to choose it, and then it could be one of 3 songs. It could be, and then you can choose Motley Crue, Girls, Girls, Girls. It could be Aerosmith, Don't Want to Miss a Thing. It could be Bon Jovi, Keep the Faith. Whatever those 3 songs that you want to put in. And then have like a little poll voting bit, and people will put, I think you should do Keep the Faith, and then you just go, great, and then you put that in your set and you record it and you just say, massive thanks to everyone who voted, we're going to do Keep the Faith, come down and check us out. It just starts to get the ball rolling. Other types of debates that you could do is you could actually start talking about some of these classic rock stuff. So I noticed on the page there was a really good video which just said songs which hit 40 this year, which I thought was an absolutely brilliant post. I think more of that. There is classic songs that turned 40 in 2017, because there's loads of stuff in there from the marketing, from the demographic, where people will be like, wow, I remember that when it came out. That's really good. But more of that, and I think it can be in the power of status. So someone actually just saying, who's better, Aerosmith or Bon Jovi? Whoa. And just let it go. And someone will go, obviously it's Bon Jovi. And then someone else will come back and go, are you crazy? And it will just spiral. And so you're trying to get the community to actually involve itself as well as involve it with you. So the community is starting to talk to each other. So, or something like, what's the best gig you've ever been to? Or what's the best classic rock venue? Or who's the best guitarist that you've ever seen? So you're just coming up with these regular little debates, and it will start off small, but over a period of time, as it grows, people will get used to them, and they'll start to get involved in them, and you can keep it going as well as it starts to go. And you've got your guitarist debate, and someone's got Slash, and someone's got Angus Young and stuff, and then you come in at the bottom, and you just go, well, doesn't anyone think that Billy Gibbons is possibly the best blues guitarist from a classic rock band? And someone else will go, wow, it's an outrage, or that's fantastic. And it keeps the ball rolling, it keeps the engagement going. So that power of a status could be really, really good to involve your audience. And then the other thing I would like to see from this band, and in bands in general, I'm quite obsessed at the moment with adverts. Because what bands tend to do is they tend to go and make music videos, and they tend to go and say, boost that, or come and check out my page. And I love this idea of a band like this saying, what's all of the things that we want to get across, like they did in their video, but what's all the things that we want to get across in that video in anywhere between 20, seconds and 2 minutes, and it could be the songs that you could play. It could be I don't know, it could be how many gigs that you've done that year. It could be, you know, it could be saying, you know, 100 gigs a year all over Aberdeen. This is what we do, you know, whatever it is, but having an advert so then we can boost it, because this band has got a very clear demographic. This is boosting to a certain age group. There's no point in boosting this to 19 to 25 year olds, because you are going to hit too many 19 to 25 year olds to be able to hit the ones who like this music. So the reality is it's going to be 40 to 60 year olds, probably, I would think. Now, 40 to 60 year olds still like music, and they're less likely to like new music. They just like the music that they like. So when you're advertising to, say, 40 to 60 year olds, men and women, then you have got your target audience. 40 to 60 year olds within 10, 15 miles of Aberdeen who like Thin Lizzy, who like Bon Jovi, who like Aerosmith, who like ZZ Top, who like Gary Moore. It's such an amazing niche market that you can hit them directly. But the only thing is when you hit them directly, they need to see the advert and say, this is for me. I love this shit. This is what I want to see. This is the type of band I want to see. So effectively, give them that call to action and just say, if you like this music, like our page to come and see where we're playing near you. Or if you like our music, then we are playing at this bar in Aberdeen on the 8th of July. So that's what I'd like to see, more adverts, because there's lots and lots of great stuff going on, but the calls to action is my biggest thing. I think the marketing could be raised, and I think there needs to be more calls to action, because it's a nice easy one, because the demographic is so clear cut. And I am 100% in that demographic. I would be the guy that saw a little advert and they said playing in Brighton, and I was like, oh, thank God for that. I'll come and see this, because, you know, I love all those bands. I love all that music. I love good musicianship. I love watching a band be a band. So therefore, I am very likely to see it and go, yeah, Wednesday night they're playing down at the Haunt. So I'll grab some of my mates and we'll see if we can go and see a band. So I think that would be a really good thing to do. So that's what I would do. I think we can raise this up. I would have a target of trying to get to 1,000 people within a 10-mile radius of the places that you play, probably Aberdeen. I don't know the area too well, but I would look at thinking about what you're going to wear on stage, and I think it should all be something to do with what you do. And I like the fact that you have your own t-shirts. I wouldn't have everyone in your own t-shirt because it would look too cheesy. But I think this Thin Lizzy t-shirt is fantastic. I thought the Dead Daisies t-shirt, I thought that was fantastic. The AC/DC t-shirt, that's fantastic. If you can get Guns N' Roses, if you can get Motley Crue, because people will see it and just go, like all those bands, I know what I'm going to get. It tells that story. So I'd have that in the pictures. I'd have a professional photo shoot done, and I'd find someone, if I could, to have a professional video shoot. I would get some tracks recorded for you to go in the studio, 3 or 4 tracks that just sum up the band. The watch video, I would put a call to action on that. I'd probably put a call to action in the picture so that people can see what it is. Classic rock band, like for gigs near you, for example. I would have pictures of the crowd going crazy, and if there aren't pictures of the crowd going crazy, I'd make sure on every single gig I was out in the crowd at the end of a gig or the beginning of a gig, just saying, oh, can we get a picture together? Because they're more likely to share it, you're more likely to share it, they're more likely to like your page. I'd have banners at the side of the stage. I'd probably have a banner on the bass, a bass drum skin, and I would have the competitions saying, what would you like us to play at our next gig? And we'd learn it. We'd have debates, and on top of that, I would do some Facebook advertising directly to the demographic. I think if you did all those things within the space of the next 6 months, I think you'll get 3 times as many people come to the gigs. I think you'll get a lot more gigs offered to you, because when you say to a new pub or a venue that you don't mind traveling to, look, we can bring some more people to your pub to drink, this is what we do, they'll instantly go to the Facebook, they'll see the standard, and they'll just say, this is great. And then you can look at how much you charge, and you can look at potentially supply and demand. Everything I do revolves around supply and demand. You can't charge without any gigs. So if you've got as many gigs as they do, you can start looking at potentially pushing the prices up, should they want to. And I just think the whole thing can now be lifted a good 20%. And the reason for that is because what they've done is they've got the product right. I think for the music that they're into, the musicianship is there. Everything for me as a product works. The marketing is the area that we really need to raise up. But not by a lot, 20%. So that's it. So if you wouldn't mind, if anyone wouldn't mind just saying thanks to Fitliken, you can just, it's easy to find on Facebook, but if anyone wouldn't mind just saying thank you to Fitliken for letting me rip their Facebook apart, because this is a community. We are all in this together. I'm here to help you, and I want to get around to your stuff. I want to help you. These guys have been brilliant letting me do it. So the more I can create a community in this world, the better. So if you wouldn't mind just saying something to the guys, comment on this video, tell them well done, big thumbs up to them. Anything I can help with, give me a shout. I'm going to do another couple of these Facebook reviews over the next few weeks. If you want your band, you as an artist, your covers band, your business even, to have this Facebook review, then I'm happy to do it. All you've got to do is just get in touch and just say, I am completely prepared for you to rip my Facebook apart. I feel like this is the third one now, and I also feel like people should know that it isn't about pulling punches. So now that you can see what it is, maybe we can go a bit deeper and start to be even more horrible. Cool. Otherwise, have a good one. See you guys tomorrow.